Yes, guys. Welcome back to another episode, the Bootcast podcast. I'm your host, Justin. I'm here with my co-host, Colby. Colby, man, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing real good. My day went from Easter egg hunting with the kids to, in the evening, interviewing Mr. Noah Kavanaugh himself, dude.
Yes. We have the legend himself, Noah. Noah, man, how you doing? Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. Really excited to chop it up with you guys.
Oh, no. Yeah, we're excited for this. Okay, so we're going to start this off right. Noah, you're going to go first. This is episode 16. Favorite number 16 jersey wearer of all time?
Sergio Busquets.
Good answer.
Excellent pick.
He's just one of those players. It's like, what do you have to say? You know what I mean? Like, really, like it's like, I picked Messi for 10. Yeah, dude, he's just so good. I've never seen somebody so slow in my life that is so talented. Like, he's like, I don't have to run. I can't run. I want to be him, but I just can't run.
It's all mental games. It's all like game smarts. You watch him play and you're like, man, that guy's a genius.
Oh, 100%. All right, yeah. Colby, who's your 16?
Number 16 for me is Sergio Kun Aguero. He was wearing the 16 jersey when he scored the... I know, yeah, you hate this. But scored the final goal, 2012. I mean, who could forget, dude?
The Aguero goal?
Yeah.
Dude.
And I mean, Liverpool fan here, dude. But that guy, the longevity, working with, who was it, Mancini, and then had a little bit of time with Pep. I don't know if Pep actually played him too much. But then it was kind of sad how it ended when he went to Barca and kind of had that heart condition.
Mm-hmm. I think I heard a rumor that he might come back. Like, he got cleared to play again.
Yeah.
So I don't think he'll be for Barcelona. He'll probably come to Miami with all the other Barca.
Yeah. They let him into the Argentina squad. Well, not in the squad, but hanging out with the team in 2022. Was he officially in the squad?
I think he was. Yeah, I think he was like part of the squad, but it was like he wore like jeans. He didn't. Yeah, he didn't pull John Terry and kid up.
The man has a heart condition. Justin, back off. Okay,
no, dude. It's so. I just hate that goal. Like that goal alone, I'm just like, no, I'll never respect you. Nothing.
Come on.
No, he is great though. My number 16 is Roy Keane. Literally United's greatest captain of all time. Like one of football's last hard men. One of the greatest pundits I've ever heard. I don't need to say anything else about Roy Keane. I love Roy Keane. Okay, so we're going to get into this today. We kind of have topics / points we want to hit, but really I want to kind of let Noah steal the show. So Noah, we like to ask everybody kind of about their lore and how they became who they are as like a content creator and this big YouTuber, because you kind of hit the YouTube scene. You kind of snuck in quietly and then you literally exploded and you're like, everybody knows you. Everybody wants to be you. So kind of tell us, walk us through, you don't have to go through your childhood if you don't want to, but at least start us off. How'd you get into the game and how'd you get to where you are now?
Yeah. So played multiple sports growing up. Soccer was always my favorite, and hit kind of 13, 14 years old. That's when I started playing full time. And I used to watch whatever content I could when I was a kid. We would watch all the best of highlight videos. And so as soon as some of the 7MLC, who's now, a good friend of mine, Michael, when he started popping up, and Matt Sheldon started popping up, and some of these other, honest Boot Wizard as well, Unisport, all these guys probably anywhere between 5 and 10 years ago started popping up. I would watch all their content, SR4U as well, a lot of these guys. And so it was sort of always in the back of my mind. I always had a fascination with football boots and with sort of the gear of what people were using, why they were using it. So really a focus on product. And so as I went through my football career, there hit a point in 2020. It was actually, I was playing over in Perth, Australia, and we had a big lockdown, and so we had tons of time, and I was sitting there going ooh, maybe this is just an awesome time to start recording, might as well. Had always had a fascination with it, and was playing and doing some videos. At first it was all just day in the life stuff, so anything that from a backyard workout. I was trying to hit the algorithm on YouTube, so I'd do backyard workout during COVID or something like that had absolutely nothing to do with with anything football related. And so that was like a fun experiment. I look back, I haven't deleted any of those videos. So you can go back and watch just like the absolute ridiculousness that is, filming on a GoPro in the middle of a deserted field in Australia because everyone's inside and because of COVID and all this other stuff. And yeah, it just it sort of started off really, really slow. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll do an unboxing of the next boots I got. And I think the first one I did was a pair of the launch colorway of the GT1s, the black with the pink stripe around it. And that video went nuts for my subscriber count at the time. I mean, now the video probably has only a couple hundred views, but at the time that was insane for me. And I was like, ooh, maybe I'm onto something. So every time I got a new pair of boots, it was like I would start to do it. And then I started to sort of build a business around it because I figured out how to do it sustainably without losing a ton of money. And that was obviously very helpful. And so once the boot stuff really started to hit, then it was like, okay, maybe this is the niche that I'm in, is like a player who can also do the boot reviews. So yeah, and since then, I mean, probably about a year and a half ago now, maybe, it really started to kick off. That was almost a year ago was when I started seeing just explosive growth on Instagram and YouTube. YouTube's been a little more linear, but yeah, no, it's been a cool journey, and I love it. I love dealing with some of the bigger brands and even some of the smaller brands as well is super cool. Like being able to talk to, have a FaceTime with like the CEO of Adler is like the dopest thing ever. So,
yeah, that is cool. Yeah. That is super cool.
Yeah.
No, it's funny that you bring that up because I found you actually through that Phantom GT video. Because I was looking and I was kind of interested in the boot and I always kind of liked it. And I mean, besides what Josh and J Mike, who do like their standard video, nobody really had any content. And then I came across you and I was like, okay, I kind of like this guy. And so I went to your channel, and I think at the time, yeah, you mainly did like vlogs and stuff like that. So I watched your content. I'm like, oh, this is fun. Like, I like this. It's different. So I kind of, peep in. And then I think the next video I found of you was like, how to break in your boots, and it was the white vapors, and I love those pairs of cleats. And then from then, like I said, I just saw you like, it was kind of like you were like this, and then you're like poof, and you just like exploded. And so I don't know, I think it's really cool to have seen your journey like that, because I came in kind of a little bit later, but then like I said, you were like meteoric in your rise.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that very much. It's out of curiosity, did you end up watching any of those? Well, first of all, what's like language? Are there things we shouldn't say on the podcast, or am I like free flowing?
I swear all the time. So
up for grabs.
Yeah, okay.
I'm terrible.
So did you watch any of those vlogs? Because most of them were complete dog shit.
They're funny. I've seen like the juggling one. There's the one where you first shaved your head. I remember that one. And you're like, like new hair, and like you said, there'd be like. What's the fitness test one you did?
It's the John Terry one? Or?
The Murph, that's it. Yes.
Murph, yeah.
Okay, see, I remember those videos. And like I said, some of those old, like the how to break your cleats, what's in my bag. Like I remember a lot of those olds. And like even now, like you have a couple of stretching videos and like some light yoga and stuff like that. And I actually use those videos a lot because like I struggle with really tight calves. So you Become Elite and some other people I'll use a lot of those stretching videos to this day. I have like a little playlist of like just stretching.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great to know. I mean, it's always good to hear feedback, because then you can kind of figure out what the next move is for an evergreen video, or to redo a stretching video, or to redo something else. I think that's always a good thing to keep in mind. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man, it's kind of funny because like Justin found you through the GT1 video. I love, like I've told Justin this on the podcast before, but I love watching like day in the life videos, whether it's Michael Cunningham, whether it's Matt Sheldon, like whenever, like, I don't know what it's just something so soothing about like, I'm waking up in the morning. This is my coffee. This is my breakfast. This is me getting in my car. I'm driving to training. Hey, here's my tea. Like it's, I don't know if it's just like some, like, man, I wish that were, something I got to wake up and do every day, other than like, get kids to school or whatever it is. So, but I think that's how I originally found you, was like a morning routine or like a day in the life type thing. And now, actually, before you came on the podcast, I was going back and looking at some of those, and that takes some work, dude, to like get your camera in angles, and it looks like you have to get in the car and then out of the car to place the camera to the trunk, like, so it looks like those videos actually do take a lot of work to set up.
Yeah, and it's a full day of filming, right? It's you have to think about creatively, how am I going to make this look to my standard over the course of a 12-hour period. And so obviously the emphasis for most people who are watching those types of videos is the training session, or like whatever you're doing for prehab or lifting or post session, whatever that looks like. But the rest of the day for some people is really interesting as well, because they're like, well, what else do you do in the 16 hours that you're awake?
Exactly.
Do you ever miss, like, because you like you said, you found your niche more so with the boots. Do you ever miss making those day in the lifestyle videos? Because I know you also do like the 1 month, the review, the play test now you've really grown into. But like, yeah, like those old style ones, or even like the training videos. Like I noticed you kind of have gone down doing those as much. So do you miss making that kind of content, or you're like, not really?
Yeah, I think for part of me is like, oh, I do miss it because it is fun and it's definitely a creative outlet. Like I feel much more creative doing those types of videos than I do the boot reviews, because the boot reviews, other than setting up the background in the way that I like it or other things, there's not a whole lot outside of sort of the formula that I've found that really works for my type of viewer. And so for me, there's not a lot of creativity. It's I can batch content, right? It's not that hard. Whereas like there's no way I could batch a vlog because it's so complicated. Like Colby was saying, like it's, there's 300 angle. I probably have upwards of like 170 clips to put together for a single day.
Jesus.
And it's like, yeah.
Well, what's amazing about those too is like it's so hard to simulate the lifestyle of a soccer player. So in like credit to you and people like Matt Sheldon who can like really get you in the angles where you feel like you're walking into the locker room with your teammates. You feel like you're like getting dressed for training. And so like you're saying, like it takes a million different types of clips to do that. So yeah, I could see how that could get tedious, and it would be a little bit, better to kind of do like a live training session, or not training session, but like a live boot review.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think when I think about building a personal brand as well, there's something to be said about, how I had to sort of sit with it and say, okay, how can my viewership get to know me better while also enjoying and getting a lot of value from it? And at some level, like new viewers are going to come in. They're not going to come in and watch a vlog because they're like, we don't give a shit who you are. Like, we don't care. But they'll come into a play test. Like, they'll come into a play test and be like, oh, I really like this boot. He's showing us some cool angles of like training in this boot. And also, oh, he's telling us about this like thing that he did the other day. And that's kind of cool. So you try to find like that intersection of, building a personal brand and also being able to provide the value immediately to the viewer who's going to show up for that particular type of video.
So when you have a formula when it comes to the Reboot reviews, and you were doing that for a while, you would mix things up, and you introduced like the probe camera for a little bit, and you changed it, and then you started doing the 1 month reviews, and I think that really set you apart because, let's be honest, nobody does that. I still don't think right now. Like, you're one of the only ones who's like, hey, here's my initial unboxing, here's how I feel, and then later you come back, you're like, hey, like I was totally wrong, or hey, I was totally right. And then now you started including the playtest videos, which kind of like, I'm assuming is in between the unboxing and then the 1 month. So like, how do these like thought processes go for where you're like, I'm only going to do unboxing, so then you're like, oh, now I'm gonna start adding the 1 month, and now you're like, I want to show people how I break them in and how I go about this?
Yeah, I think it's a story arc, right? You're making the viewer the hero of the story. So it really is about expressing, okay, here's what the unboxing experience is going to look like. So when, whoever's watching my video is going to go and put the box in front of them, they're like, oh, this is exactly what Noah's video was like. Like, that's super cool. And so they're able to experience that before experiencing it in real life. And then when they go out for the play test, they may feel or not some of the things that I do in the video, which I'll talk about real time. And so that allows sort of that continuation of that story arc. And then as you get to 1 month review is like, okay, I have a really good sense of what these feel like. I've got a lot of experience in them. I've played, X amount of hours in them, and you can see that they're broken in. They're probably beat to heck for a lot of these boots. Well, something that I thought in the initial unboxing that was based on all the hype, and really my job, I feel like, is to break down some of the marketing, which frankly has gotten absolutely outlandish. I'm like, these big brands are just like, they're throwing whatever they're getting. I mean, the whole conversation obviously started with me posting about Preds being lazy, so we can get into that at some point. But like the marketing really is just getting absolutely outrageous in my opinion, and so that's where it's like, I don't feel like I have a responsibility to, but I think it is kind of fun for me to break down like, hey guys, like they market it like this, but it's actually a little bit different than that, and here's why. And I think that like really breaking down like not only that, but then, okay, because it's a little bit different, maybe if you're somebody who likes a specific type of lockdown or your foot shape is this way, that'll be actually better suited to you than say what the hype around the Nike boot or the Adidas boot or whatever is. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about, right? Is it's finding the boots that actually fit you the best. And as much as I loved those like Tune-It F50s, I could never fit in them. So like, it doesn't make a difference if I can't fit in the boot.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's funny too, because like I always have, I guess in the background giving you a lot of credit, is that you're just so no nonsense especially when it comes to those marketing things. Like I always laugh when you're like, you're trying to, I see it in your brain in the reviews, especially you're trying to figure out a way to put it nicely, and you're just like, nah, I can't, like, this sucks. Like, this is like the Nike Do Better video on the GT2s. Like, we had talked about the GT2s, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it an honest shot, and you did it, and you're like, I still hate this boot. Like, it's garbage.
Yeah.
So I always do love that. Yeah, that was really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. No, it was a great video, and I think I'll probably do that for the Ultra at some point, the Puma Ultra, which I know like it's just like, oh man. So full disclosure, you guys will hear about this video before obviously it goes live, but I'm filming I scripted out the like top 5 speed boots of 2024 so far. I know like new Vapor and new F50s are coming out soon, but I wanted to get sort of a 2-part version of like see how they stack up before and after. And in the scripting video, I know this is not a joke, I forgot about the Ultra in the list. And I completely forgot. And then at the end of the video, I was like, I'm like sitting literally right here at my desk, like typing away. I was like, okay, so I went through Adidas. Yeah, I got the Adidas ones, I got the Nike ones, I got the whatever. And I was like, fuck, I forgot the Ultra. And so I wrote Puma Ultra on my script. And then I honestly, I should just read this to you, because it is so funny. Like I just couldn't even. I couldn't even.
I like how that
manage
boot
to
is
get
so
anything.
bad to you that you've just you've subconsciously blocked it.
Oh, I can't. I said the Ultra leaves a lot to be desired, and honestly, I'm not going to spend any time on it because it was a last-minute addition to the list that I wasn't even going to include. Do better. Past speed boots from your brand. Wipe the floor with these.
Oh my goodness,
yeah, dude.
Well, that's like every Puma tier right now, because I saw your future video and it was kind of on similar ground, and like the whole AG FG thing, it's just never gonna work. Like, I don't know why they keep marketing it like that.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. It blows me away, honestly.
But I even remember in the King, you wouldn't even do a 1 month review on it. Those were some of the boots that was like, look, there's this big old like opening here in my ankle. Like, I have no desire to do a 1 month review on these. Like, sorry guys, you won't be seeing that. So the entire 3 silos for Puma is just, in my opinion, it's not where it should be.
No, absolutely not. And it's definitely one of those brands that has had so many great boots in the past. Like, I think if they went back to, what the Evo Speed was back when it sort of mimicked like 2014 hybrid touch material, like that sort of that Evo Speed was great. The Evo Power, I've got them somewhere here. Oh yeah. Like this generation of Evo Power.
Yeah.
Like just unbelievable. Like they were lightweight, they were comfortable. And then why not when your other two competitors are going with either non-leather or kind of this hybrid like calf skin, fusion skin situation? Why not go for like a premium leather experience football boot? Like do what the first generation King Ultimate, well, like those black with what Neymar used to wear. Were they called Ultimates?
Yeah.
Platinums.
Platinums.
Yeah, so do something like that, but make it even more kind of premium and elegant. Like, there's so much room for Puma to be better, but man, they fallen off a cliff, in my opinion, in the last couple of years.
See, Puma's always been that brand to me that it's either like their development team is either like, we're going to put all of our eggs into making this look cool and kind of performing terrible, or they'll put all their eggs into making it perform really well, but just every boot is ugly. And like, it's like they cannot find a middle ground ever. Like some colorways, yeah, they're fine. But most of the time, a lot of people don't like Puma because they're just kind of ugly.
Agreed. Do you guys think, like, how would you rate like the general look of each silo compared to other things in the competition?
They can make some futures look cool. Like I have these, and like honestly, like I don't mind like the white with the red. I mean, this is the like old model now, but the white pinks futures compared to like something like a Predator, and Predator in its own way has had just so many colorways already, even though they just started in early 2024. But I mean, honestly, like all the other brands' colorways just hit a lot better.
So I don't
Adidas
find
Predator.
anything. Okay, you know what? Okay, let's just get into this now because we're talking about colorways. So this conversation of getting you on the podcast kind of started very quickly because you made a hot take, and tell the viewers what your hot take is.
Okay, so outside of the blackout Preds, and I'm including like just the colorway. I don't care about which silo you do, right? So just colorway. Blackout, always class. Whiteout, pretty much always class. You can't really go wrong with either of those. Fair enough, right? The first three colorways, so special edition comes out that Jude Bellingham wore. They were mega limited edition. They're stupid expensive. They were on the resale market for like over $1,000. Ridiculous. They looked amazing, no doubt. Then they release the Pred Strike colorway, which is like fine for a release colorway. I don't mind them because I like bright colors. They're cool, whatever. Then they release the black with the yellow and orange accents, which was called something else.
Solar
I'm
Energy.
gonna forget. Solar Energy. That's it. So Solar Energy comes out, and I was like, okay, you've just reversed the colors. Like it's just the same colorway, but it's just switched. Then they release the third colorway, and this is where I was like, yo, 3 strikes, you're out. Like two back to back, like fair enough. Yo, they release 3 colorways that are they're the same 3 colorways, just derivatives of each other. And I literally was like, you cannot be serious. Like this is such a late, like this silo, in my opinion, I'm interested to know what you guys think. I think this silo has so much amazing design language for like some amazing colorways. Like I think they could do such cool stuff with this.
Well, ironically, like we've seen them, but we just can't get them. The Trent boots are incredible looking, but like,
Exactly.
Are we going to get them? Are we not going to get them? We don't know.
Okay, so I've kind of said this to a couple people. The thing with, because they're, like you said, they're kind of just recycling past generation Predator colorways over and over, whether it's the Accelerator, the Manias, yada yada yada. The thing with this Predator is, while I do think it is amazing, I love the design of it, I think that this Predator strictly was made as an homage to old Predators. So all the colorways on this generation Predator are all going to be homages to the past ones. And then I think the next generation Predator is going to be where we start getting new colorways. I think that this one was kind of a way for the designers to be like, hey, this is a callback. We're coming back to form. We're going to honor our tradition, and we're going to say that this is the Predator is back. This is the Predator is back. And then once the Predator, whatever the next one is called, comes out, that's where we'll start getting funky colorways. But I think as long as this one is out, we're just going to see callbacks to Pulses, Accelerators, Manias, and that's it.
That's a good shout. That's a really good shout.
I mean, I think
I don't know.
I agree with you. Like some of the colors that they use, the highlighter yellow, the highlighter orange, and black is boring. Like I totally agree with you on that end. But for what the boot is, I think it makes sense. And then now with the Roteros and the Yamamotos that are literally coming out, I think in the next week, I'm like, oh, okay, I like these a lot, especially the Roteros.
Yeah, I would say both the Roteros and the Yamamotos are kick ass. Like they both look sick. Those look super, super cool. Maybe if they had broken the 3 colorways up, I would have been fine with it. But the fact that they released those 3, like it's the same 3 colors, 3 colorways in a row. Come on, like that's just lazy. Like you can't, surely not. Sure, like, I
agree. The timing is not right. Was not right at all.
It's like, yo, like at least give us like a blue in there or a green. Well, they gave us green, but it's horrible.
Oh, I forgot about those.
Bad.
I forgot about those.
The like, oops, this was technically supposed to be for Pogba, but we're just gonna release it as a general release.
Generation Bread. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that thing was ugly.
So okay,
so
if you have your way, we'll take the Preds. Like how, like if you're like, hey, I'm gonna design a colorway, like what would you want the Predator to look like?
I am a fan of blackout and whiteout with accent colors. So I would do like, I think it'd be sweet to see like a all white, and then you do you remember they were Superfly, same generation as the World Cup 2010 Superflies, and they had like the ombre, they were all white with the ombre blue and purple flame on the side.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's the wind chill colorway.
Wind chill, yeah. So that was one of my favorite colors of any boot ever, and I think if they did like a dark blue ombre up into light blue for the stripes, and then did like a light blue for the grip patterns, and then maybe dark blue here on the tab, and then do like the chroma, like a blue chroma colorway for the sole plate with an all white boot, I think that would be unbelievable looking.
And I love that you always go to blue, because I like everybody who knows me and I've talked, I just don't like blue boot. I don't know what it is, man. It's more the royal blue. Like your brand blue, I don't mind, and sometimes the navies, like on the Roteros, I don't mind. But something about royal blue, I just feel weird in. Super weird in.
Yeah. Like I'd go like these, like this kind of blue.
Oh yeah. See, that's a nice blue.
Yeah, like a turquoise or like teal blue.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of similar to what they had on the not the Mad Ready pack, but like the Nike's was it the Peak Ready pack? Like those blues, I like those. Those kind of like a more like blue purplish style. Like I like that colorway. Are brands afraid of basically like getting out of your face? Because I feel like a part of like how marketing works is it's like, hey, look, we have to have these on these professional players. You see them on TV as they're playing in the Premier League, and it's just they're loud, they're bright colors, like the Generation Pred, or the Pred Strike. It's just they're so vibrant and bright that like you're looking at the players, you're like wondering what they're wearing. Like I've got to get, you know.
At least they're not claiming like.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, at least they're not claiming, like Nike did back in 2010, that the colorway literally made you see them better.
Which I love that, because it's like, there's opponents that are wearing Nike boots. Like, what?
Vapor 7s, dude. Those are Vapor 7s. It had like the orange on the heel. Like, I love those boots, dude. They were blue and they had the orange on the heel. I think
that pack is phenomenal.
These guys.
Yes.
Yes, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, Nike, we've talked about this on the past, but like Nike is so good about like word playing absolute nonsense to convince us as consumers that like, oh yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Like, yeah, of course I'd see purple and orange instantly and know that that's my team. Of course.
Yeah, it's like now that I have a little more experience with the program, it's like they put into ChatGPT like, these boots are really bright. Write a 6-page marketing scheme for these boots are really bright, and then just like pushed it out.
No, that's honestly like probably one of the best like summaries of what Nike does, because they do that. And I don't know, like we as boot people know that they do that. And I feel like even knowing that, I will still fall for it almost 9 times out of 10. I'm like, yeah, air zoom, like a pocket of air. Of course I'm going to run faster. And then I put it on. I'm like, yeah, I can totally feel it.
Nope.
Like, oh, yeah, I feel it. And I'm like, oh, they did this back in 1991? Oh, okay.
That's funny.
Okay, so Noah, so you've kind of have become very outspoken with the brands that you, not even necessarily brands, but boots that you like to wear, boots that you don't like to wear. And you've really pushed kind of the motto of like, wear what fits. Don't buy hype. Don't buy, whatever. Wear what fits. When you go and you try on all these new boots, how long do you really allow the boot to try to work to your foot before you're like, it just doesn't? Because I know you have a very interesting foot shape. And so how long do you kind of give boots before you're finally like, I got to call it, like this just is not working?
Yeah, I would say now that I've had experience with wearing quite like pretty much everything on the market now outside of a few like pretty small well, they're massive in Indonesia, but like the boots that we don't really know much about in the States. There's a couple Indonesian brands actually that I'm trying to get a hold of, but outside of those, like I've pretty much tried everything else on the market. So and I've tried them extensively as well. So when I try on, let's say, a new silo, right? Like when Vapor 16 comes out or when the new F50 comes out, it's going to fall into sort of 3 camps. One is like, okay, I tried them on similar to the King Ultimate that Colby mentioned earlier, that video where I was like, not a chance. Like, there's no way. Like, these are uncomfortable. They're so tight on my feet. Like, there's no way these are going to fit me. So that's camp 1, right? Camp 2 is, okay, we'll see. I'm not really sure yet. And then it just sort of fizzles out because I wear them a second time and I'm like, yo, these are going to kill me. Like, I can't wear these. And then camp 3 is like, okay, I have a pretty good idea of what's going to fit. And I think I can, figure out how to break these in. And I would say the majority of the boots fall into either 1 or 3. It's kind of either they're really not going to work or they're like, okay, I think I can like at least try them enough to give a good 1-month review on them.
Yeah, and that's where I appreciate the playtest, dude, because I think you were doing the Pred Strike colorway of the Predator, just talking about, and you're going around cones and you're like doing all these movements and you're saying like, hey, look, like the heel lockdown, it's not perfect, but it is giving me some slippage and it will take time to kind of break this in. And as it does break into my foot, like it might actually tighten up to my heel. I don't know yet. I've got to get a little bit of time. So it's pretty awesome to see like kind of how that process goes and how you kind of explain that as you're playing.
Yeah, I think that was, that's sort of my idea was actually from Gary V, funny enough. I was watching one of his like long form talks in front of a creator academy or whatever it was. And he was like, I can't wait to see the next podcast that's like you're doing something and it's a podcast at the same time. And I was like, maybe I could do something like that. And so I don't remember what the first playtest I did was. I think it might have been actually one of the Predator videos. But I was just like, you know what? Let's just mic myself up. I'll just run my mouth for 45 minutes as I train and just see what happens. Like literally just see what happens. And it turned out people really enjoyed it. People were like, oh, cool. Like, this is awesome. This gives us like an actual real time of, and not a scripted version of like actually experiencing the boots for the first time. And the feedback that I've gotten has been really, really positive from the standpoint of people who don't have the ability to try on boots in person anymore because of, shoes shops shutting down or whatever else. Like, they're able to look at the boots or watch the video and get a much better sense of whether they should actually buy a boot like that or not. And that's been kind of the most rewarding thing for those videos, is like just, helping people find out what actually fits for them.
Yeah, dude, and I feel like it was almost like the missing link, because like Justin was saying, like, he like, also, like, this is just a side comment, but whenever you initially try on boots and you'll say stuff like oh my days, and that shows up in the comments, like, where is that something that you've always said, or is that, I don't know, that I feel like that's such a big part of like, is this an oh my days, Noah? Like, what kind of boot is
the
this?
oh my days rating? Yeah,
the oh my days rating.
Yeah. No, 100%. In fact, I need to be better at adding that into my videos again, because that was like that. People were freaking out about that. No, I think on my days, I remember as like the first thing that because as you grow up, especially in the US, is like sometimes you'll get American coaches, sometimes you'll get English coaches, and then the English coaches, you're always like, oh, this guy knows soccer way more. Even just the fact that he has an accent makes him know soccer way more. You know, like from an American accent perspective, that's like kind of how it works in the US. And so like he could know absolute fuck all about anything, and like you'd be like, oh, this guy is like hitting it. And I remember one of the first phrases that I tried to integrate into my vocabulary is like a 13-year-old was like, oh my days, you know, like every time somebody would do something dope on the field. And so I've said that like at the beginning it was probably pretty ironic, but now it's like completely just part of the things that I say now. So that's kind of where that came from.
No, we always love it because it's always like that moment that you first slip on that boot. You're just, oh my days.
It captures it
perfectly.
It's like,
yeah, there he is.
Yes.
Like, if you don't like it, it's how we can tell if you like a boot. If you give it oh my days, it's like the GX2. It's like, oh no, it rates this like highly. If it's like the Puma Ultra Ultimate, it's
yeah.
That's what you say. You're like,
no, that's what I'm saying. Interesting.
Okay. And it's like, no one's like, okay, how can I make this sound a little better? But it's so
swing
funny
that around.
because you'll just be, it's like dead air. You're just like, huh? And it's like, oh, he hates those. Like he absolutely hates them.
Turn the video off right now. It's done.
Yeah, the one of the funniest things, I recently hired a full-time editor who's also a footballer, so it works out really well for like some of the content stuff, and he's been incredible. But one of the first times he started, I can't remember which video he was editing, but he edited one of the videos that was like that. It was one of the ones that I didn't like as much, and it had like a long pause of like, I was just like, fuck me, like what am I supposed to say about these boots? And he was like, bro, did you like lose audio? I was like, no, I just didn't say anything. Oh god.
Oh. See, and that's like so hard because it's like sometimes the dead air is so good and it's so authentic, but then other times it's like, do you want me to cut that out? Because that's a long dead air pause.
Yeah, well, and the funny thing too is that clip, obviously, as I'm saying it, is just the boot is in the frame. Like you can't see my face at all. So like maybe what I'll do is I'll add. I'm actually this is the first time I've ever thought about this. Maybe I'll add like one of those chest cam GoPros up at my face every time I try on a boot, so you can be like,
oh, that would just be too funny. Just like your face, like,
yeah, I can't do this.
Okay, so I know from past videos that was it the Puma Ultra? I think it might have been the 1.2. Is that the boot you broke your foot in?
Oh yeah.
It was 1.1, 1.2, and then I wore the Vapor 13 in that like earth colorway. It was like an off-white and brown and electric yellow.
Yeah. The Terra Pack. Oh, I love those. Yeah, that's a good one.
Which I thought, so sick looking. So sick looking.
They were out there. So, okay, because I've never heard kind of the full backstory. Like I've seen your videos and it's like you're literally like trying on boots, and then it was like, I'm having foot surgery. So kind of how did your boots play into getting injured?
Yeah, so this is actually probably, without knowing it, really the origin story of why I'm so fanatical about people just getting boots that actually fit their foot. Because I thought the Ultra 1.1, 1.2s were super cool looking. They were definitely higher volume from what Puma had made in the past. So I was like super stoked about them. And then Vapor 13 being a knit boot, I was like, ooh, this is the closest thing I'll get to Hypervenom 3 since Hypervenom 3. But of course, it's a Vapor. It's not going to fit. My foot is way too wide for that. And so I started to break those in, and it was sort of at the beginning of the YouTube journey of finding out, like, okay, number one, what is my voice? What is my message going to be overall? But also, I was so wrapped up into the hype of the new boots, I was just freaking out. I was like, oh my God, these might fit. And after every session, my feet would be sore to the point where it hurt to walk. Like I'd have to sit in the locker room for like 20 minutes and just like massage my feet out to the point where they would actually be fine. And then when it came to sort of the winter time of 2021, like 2020, 2021, I had this like really bad pain in my foot, and I had been sort of switching off between those two boots other than the stuff that I was testing, you know, here and there. But those were my game boots and training boots. And I remember just kind of getting the diagnosis from the doctor, because I was like, oh, it just feels like a foot cramp, but I'll go anyway. Got the MRI, and the doctor was like, you might never play soccer again, because this is like your foot's like broken, like it's really bad. And it looks like this injury has been it started about 8 months prior to the appointment. So I had been playing on a broken foot.
It was
for like
navicular with some swelling, right? Like it was pretty bad.
So the navicular. Are you a PT or something?
A physical therapist. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So yeah, I should send you the MRI photo, because the navicular. So for people who don't know, long story short, if you care about this,
that's me.
Navicular is kind of shaped. Yeah. Justin's like, I don't know, but you can tell me.
I just cut hair for a living, so please continue.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So the navicular is kind of shaped like that. It's almost like a cupped little piece of bone. And a lot of the muscles of your foot that sort of help your foot push off and stuff tie into that bone. And so what had happened was there was basically a corner of the navicular bone that had completely fractured off and was like free floating in my foot. And then the other part of the navicular was fractured like 3/4 of the way down. So the big piece was. And so it was like really, really bad. The guy was like, you need to chill. And so, yeah. And that was all down to the boots I was wearing.
That's meant like, because you never think about something like that. Like I could see it being like, oh, I got this injury because I was wearing these boots. Somebody stepped on me or a bad slide tackle. But I would never in a million years think like this boot is literally constricting my foot so hard and is so tight that it's literally breaking the bones of my foot.
Wild. I wouldn't have ever thought about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny that you went through an experience like that, and mine's not very similar in terms of like, you know, squeezing on my foot, or it sounds like a repetitive injury. But the boots that you were talking about, the Vapors, the ones with like the, you know, orange piece on the back, I tore my ACL in those back in 2011, and no, 2011 or 2013, one of those, and I tore my ACL twice, both in Vapors. One was in the Safaris, one was in those boots. Anyways, but I've always blamed it on that. And so I haven't really worn Vapors for my mains in a very long time. Like I've stayed away from them. And it's almost like a mental thing of like, if I wear these, I'm at much higher risk for injury. So I'm always looking at traction, how it fits my foot. So it's kind of funny that you have a similar story.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, like the effect that those types of fit and stud patterns and all that stuff. Were you wearing those Vapors on AG?
Dude, I wore so I had the takedown of, so you had like the Ronaldo Safari, right? So like that was like the super fly at the time. So I couldn't afford that. That was like so expensive. And then they had the Vapor that had like the little like fold over. I had at the time, I don't think they called them like Pros, Elite. I think it was called like Mist or something. Do you guys remember that, when it was like Vapor? Anyways, so I was wearing those outdoor, tore my ACL, and then I thought it'd be a great idea to wear I think it was the Blue Vapor 7s on a indoor pitch, because they didn't have any rules, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna wear my Vapors, and I just ran as fast as I can. I stopped for a cut, and I was done. So,
was it at Blue Sky?
No, this was a place in Austin. Yeah, around the Round Rock area. I don't know why and now like if you go to certain indoor places, they'll say no, flats only or turf shoes. That's where Justin and I play at. That's like signs on the outside of the door. Inside, they won't let you play with studs.
Do you know why they changed that rule? Actually, it's not due to injuries. It's because the arenas got tired of replacing the turf because the studs were tearing it up. Because it's just like where we live in Texas, the turf. I think it's kind of similar to Flower City Union. It's literally like concrete, and then it's like the old carpet turf, bro. So like you like see it like peeling up in the corner. There's no pellets. Like it's just that crappy like Jed 1 turf that they get at Home Depot. Jesus. But yeah, we had a lot of people like I tore my MCL that way in indoor too, but same thing. But yeah, it was because the people were tearing up the field. It didn't even have anything to do with injuries.
Yeah. Speaking of, Noah, did you wear AG at Flower City? I know that you were wearing the GXs a lot there. The GX ones.
Yeah, the custom pair actually I still have that I did on ID because I was like, I need AGs and I can't find them anywhere. So I just ended up Nike IDing a pair that I wore all year. So that was pretty much exclusively what I wore on that pitch.
Did your teammates struggle with that too, with feeling like, I guess for lack of a better word, like unsafe on the pitches you were playing on?
Yeah, a couple of them did. And back to the Puma stuff, like a couple of my teammates were obsessed with the Puma futures. And I was like, dude, no, like you can't, please, you're going to ruin your body. Yes, exactly. Those are not AG shoes, even though they say they're AG shoes. That's bullshit marketing. And they ended up either getting injured, like minor injuries or niggles throughout the entire season, or it was like joints were hurting constantly because it's like you're wearing skates. I mean, it's like you're tiptoeing on little tiny platforms, basically.
Well, I was telling Colby, I had an outdoor game last night, and the field was pretty firm, and I was wearing some of my Predator remakes, and I could feel like all the studs individually like poking up into my feet because the ground was so hard. So in your Brace podcast, I was listening to it. You mentioned, you're like, oh yeah, at Flower City it was basically like concrete. And I was like, oh God, like I can only imagine what like full sprints day in, day out on that constantly would just like destroy your feet, your joints, your ankles. Like, yeah. And like you said, if you're wearing those thin blades from the futures and all that, like, oh, you're asking for trouble. Like you were genuinely asking for trouble.
It's so bad. We had one guy who was wearing, I mean, Air Zoom, I would say, helps us a tiny bit. Like, it does give you a little bit of extra cushion. But that FG stud pattern on the Vapor 15s is crazy aggressive for AG, especially one that has, like, no depth to it.
Mm-hmm. So I've kind of followed your career a little bit for a while. You were in Australia, then you got injured, you came back, and then you signed for a team that I'd rather not name. You met Charles. And then I'm guessing that playing with Charles was so bad because I feel like that's when you stopped vlogging. Like you went on that training session with Charles and it was so bad that you're like, I'm never doing this again. And so then you ended up going to Flower City, and you were at Flower City for I think two seasons. And then now you're back in Australia and you're working with Ultra Football. So are you still currently trying to play with a professional team? I don't know how the season works over there. Or are you kind of like not hanging up my boots, but you're like, hey, I've like almost moved on from that?
Yeah, so I didn't realize we were going to violate Charles like that. Damn. No, he's a homie. He's really cool. Training with him was awesome, and obviously his whole gig is great. But yeah, so I am down here. The season in Australia runs very similar to US. It's just starts like right in January and then goes all the way through to whenever grand final is, probably around October, November, depending on the season. Very, very similar to a NISA season. So yeah, so I came down here in December for trials, got offered a couple contracts, and literally hit the point where I was like, dude, I don't think I love the team environment right now. And I just am not feeling it. Yeah, it's, I mean, with the couple teams that we won't name, that you sort of alluded to, like those are experiences that really take the joy out of football in a lot of ways. And this is, I think, we could talk about this for hours, but it really is difficult when you're trying to, train every day, be the best version of yourself on the pitch, off the pitch. I've got a wife, like it's way bigger than football at this point. And so for me, it was like, I need to love what I do, and I absolutely love the content side of things. So I'm still training all the time. But yeah, so I sort of was about to sign the paperwork and was on the phone with the coach and just said, you know what, this isn't for me. Like I don't think I can do this right now. And I don't know how long that's going to be. I'll probably play like Sunday league around here because it's super fun and it's a joy to just go out and have a kick with people. But yeah, for right now, the pro game is taking a break, because it's not my thing right now, and the team environment is really difficult to be in as you get older and more mature, and you're around younger and younger guys who are in a completely different phase of life.
Oh, for sure. I could definitely see, that.
Did Flower City, did they offer you one more season? Was that on the table at all?
Well, they're in NPSL now, so they're not even a pro team.
Oh, wow. So they dropped from NISA.
They dropped down.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
So they only kept, I think, 2 guys, and both of them were just like local Rochester dudes who had been on the team for a couple of years already.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Did Salt City stay up, or did they go down too?
I don't think Salt City ever existed.
That was the weirdest thing, dude. The baseball fields.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Okay, so a question I have for you, because I know we're not going to keep you all night, but a question I have for you. So like, I'm a huge Pred head, and I love the remakes, and you are not that at all. You, I think, have reviewed the Accelerator remakes, and I think is that the only one you've reviewed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So what is it about it? I mean, obviously, like, price aside, because I think the price is outrageous on this. What makes you not like those kind of boots?
Hang on, Justin. Hang on. He technically did review the Tony Cruz boots too.
That's not a Pred.
Well, that's not a Pred, but it is a remake.
Fair. That's fair.
Anyways, go ahead.
It's a remake of a boot that a guy doesn't even wear.
Yeah,
sure.
Exactly. Okay, so more so about remakes or Predators in particular?
Both.
So early on, honestly, remakes are very difficult to resell. So especially when people know that I've worn them already. Whereas a normal release boot is much easier to resell. So early on in my career, like if I had every boot that I ever have tried and stuff, I would have not enough room in this bedroom to have a wall full, but like it would just be overkill. So earlier on in my boot reviewing sort of career on media, I was reselling everything as soon as the 1 month review was done, or as soon as, whatever. And special edition boots often are in this weird space where they're marked up for retail at like 300 and whatever dollars, but then if you try them on, instantly they're not worth that much. So it was a question of like, do I review those more special edition boots when I can't really resell them? I'm going to lose money on them. And so it just like literally it was more of a practical financial thing for me at the beginning.
Okay.
I would say if I can get my hands on a pair of OG Preds that I actually would love to put up on the boot wall, then 100% we'll start to do it. The remakes just like haven't done it for me. I don't know. Like I used to wear the Power Swerves in the white and gold David Beckham colorway. That was like one of my favorite looking boots of all time.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, those were sick, but I actually tried to get a pair the other day, and the guy that I messaged, he's a dealer, probably both of you guys know as well. But I don't know where this story is going, so I won't say it out loud. But I messaged him about a pair that he had in my size, and I was like, "Hey, how much are these? Like, are they brand new in box? And can you send some more photos?" So he sent some more photos through, and he was like, "Oh, I'm looking for like, 900 to 1,000 for them." And I was like, "Get fucked, dude! Like,
yeah, dude,
come on, no chance. Like, no chance. There is, I don't think." There's probably, and maybe this is an interesting question for you guys. At the $1,000 price point, is there any boot that you would say is worth $1,000? Any boot
to wear
ever?
Or for collecting?
Ooh, let's say collecting, because to wear is like, eh.
Okay, so for me personally, if I'm with that kind of money, if it's true collector and it's like, let's say money's not a problem for me and I can buy them, the only one like off the top of my head that I think like outside of like a player issued pair is probably the Mercurial Vapor SL, the Carbon SL. So the one that was like all carbon fiber. That one was like super limited.
Yeah.
You know which one I'm talking about? And like only Ronaldo wore those.
The upper was carbon too.
Yes, yeah, that pair.
Yeah.
And then for I'm talking like strictly collecting, if I would probably pay that for the OG R9 Mercurials. Like if somebody had those brand new in a box, I'd probably drop it on that. But again, that's for collecting. Now, if you're like, no, you got to wear them. Hell no. I don't even like paying $200. I'm cheap. What about you guys? Like, do you guys have a pair that you're like, if money's not a thing and you're like, hey, this is $1,000, would you be willing to drop it?
Well, I mean, I think I already answered this on the podcast. The Air Legend 1, like for the Ronaldinho ones. I mean, those are my put in a glass case, just keep them on a rotating. I mean, and that's personal to me because like I was playing in high school and guys had those, so like I wish my parents would have bought me more expensive cleats at the time, but they just wouldn't do it.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. I think mine would be. Well, so I didn't obviously pay $1,000 for them, but the Vapor or the Superflies from the World Cup 2010 I showed you were one of my GOAT boots. Like I didn't pay anywhere close to $1,000, but those were like one of the pairs that I was like, if I can find them brand new in box. They even had the string bag that's like the box one. Like
the old school one. Yeah, that's
that. Like that for whatever reason that colorway just like hit for me. And then I would say the other pair. The other pair is probably, honestly, those David Beckham Preds are up there. I think those are pretty dope. Yeah, because the rest of the boots that I would pick are all for playing in.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm. Like, there's some that I'm like, oh, I do like those, but not for that kind of money. Cool. Well, we don't want to keep you too long. So, is there anything on the horizon that we can be looking out from you, Noah? That you can give us like a sneak peek?
Ooh. Well, the video that I mentioned earlier, the top 5 speed boots, I'm going to be doing a lot more of that format of video. So the one that I released a couple days ago, or maybe a week ago now, that's like it was like ranking a tier list of the boot brands.
That was
like videos like that I think I really enjoy creating because it allows me to dig really deep into sort of the that sort of stuff. So a lot more like top 5 videos, some ranking videos, things that I can really get creative with B-roll and stuff that'll allow me to continue to do sort of that creative outlet stuff. And then let's see what else on the working on some cool projects with a couple brands. Some prototype testing that'll be really sick.
So let's go.
Some cool stuff. Yeah, I'm working on some prototype testing for a couple brands that are going to be really sick, and some new boots that are coming out in the next 12 months or so that'll be like really cool, I think.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. So
I like that tier list stuff. Do more of that kind of stuff. That was a good one. I thought Asics was going to land higher on that list, but
if only they were available. I was like, oh man, if only. They're such a good brand, and they're huge in Australia too.
I think the thing with Asics is they need to figure out their naming. Everything's X-Fly something or DS something, and I'm like, how is everything the DS Lite?
DS Lite, a different name. Pro 2. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That's where I'm just like, every boot is white and black. I'm like, I can't tell the difference.
Yeah,
no, that's super hype.
It's good. No, it's super fun. And then sort of on a personal note, I ran my first half Ironman last weekend, so that's my new athletic endeavor.
Ooh.
Nice. Awesome,
is the Ironman it's not a triathlon, right? It's not like the bike.
Yep.
Is
swim bike run.
Oh, okay, it is. Okay. Oh God.
Yeah.
I salute you, sir. Like, I will watch you through Instagram do that because I have no desire to run like that ever.
Yeah.
I don't think I could. I think I would literally die.
It's a good time.
Oh, that's awesome. Colby, do you have anything you would like to add on before we let Noah get out of here?
No, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Looking forward to an update as well. We'll jump on again in the future.
For sure. Noah, tell all the 65 fans that we have so far where they can find you.
At Noah Kavanaugh pretty much everywhere. So Instagram, I just downloaded TikTok this morning, so we'll be starting to little TikTok action, but it's literally just reposting Instagram Reels, but No one
Heck
knows
yeah.
that.
Let's go.
Yeah. So, and no, pretty much just Instagram and YouTube are my big platforms. So,
Hell yeah.
That's it.
All right, Colby, where can they find you?
You can find me at Kicking It With Colbs on YouTube and at Kicking It With Colbs on Instagram, where hopefully I'll post a video here pretty soon. It's getting harder and harder, dude. My wife's 8 months pregnant, so that's whatever she needs, and then the kids, and then me. So I'm always last.
Exactly. Even your job is still above you.
Dude, I know. I have nothing. I have this podcast, and that's it.
Yeah, let's go. You guys can find me at Texas Cleat Collector. I'm doing a review on Noah's favorite boot of all time right now, the Predator Edge. So be on the lookout for that. And with that, guys, y'all have a good night, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.